Hi, welcome to another episode, the special year-ender episode of What's Your Ism. As you can see, I barely have any energy. The person you see over here is somebody, if you don't recognize, it's your loss. I'll get to him, but for now, I'm going to take him to one of my favorite places. I told you that this is a show where I'm going to try and showcase a bit of my city and what I love about it. So first, we're going to get something to eat, and then I'm going to come back and tell you who Manjeet Sarkar is, why Manjeet Sarkar is, where Manjeet Sarkar is.
Yes, sir.
What are the other five W's and
when Manjeet Sarkar is,
when
where Manjeet Sarkar is, and
how Manjeet Sarkar is.
Whoever Manjeet Sarkar is.
Middle of the show, they'll be like, "Oh, you can't say this." All this bullshit, right? And they don't know me. मैं गाँव में बकचोदी बिल्कुल नहीं सहता. मैं छू देता हूँ उनको. फिर जाते हो गंगा में डुबकी लगाने. यहाँ से डुबकी लगा रहे हैं, यहाँ से लाश तैर रहा है. कोविड का लाश कहाँ तक लेके जाओगे? That's how I make people, Dalit, by the way. I'm Dalit, I'm comedian DC. Fuck Marvel. But that's my superpower, untouchability. मैं उनको छू देता हूँ, गंगा में डुबकी लगाने जाते, गंगा इतना गंदा उनको कोई नहीं छूता, ठीक है ना? सर्कल ऑफ दलितिज्म.
For somebody who takes so many risks in your profession,
Yeah.
I'm quite impressed that you have other safety commitments. This time I noticed that the moment you sit, you put on your seat belt.
Oh yeah, and I'm very scared, and I'm used to it also. Whenever
Why are you doing comedy, man, if you're scared?
I can't, like when I'm on stage, I'm not scared, right? When I'm on stage, I'm a whole different person. Off
Yeah,
stage,
but off stage is where the Gujjar will come and get you, no?
Yeah. On stage, like if it is a competition of shit talk, I'm not scared. Like I get paid to do shit talk, right? I can. That's what they don't understand. If you come to my show and if you really want to heckle me and talk to me, then I'm gonna eat you out, right? Because I get paid to do that. I'm a professional asshole. But like off stage, I'm scared because they can actually hurt you, man.
Off stage, you wear your seat belt.
Yeah. Comedy and all is, I don't come from anger or any kind of emotion. It's just like what it is. It's just the performance has a rant kind of texture to it to elevate the performance and make it impactful. Or else I know most of the things in life, how slow it is, and I have pretty much given up on things and all these things. Just like I know the only thing I have in my life which I very strongly love is stand-up comedy. I want to create some 2-3 crazy art piece,
Right.
which I have already done it, which I'm gonna drop on February.
Right.
I want to create 2 more art piece like that, and I want to retire.
Art piece, matlab?
Stand-up special. For me, that is
okay.
my
Right.
something like that, and then I want to leave everything and do
Be there.
nothing.
भाई तुम ना वही you don't have just Dave Chappelle vibes. तुम वही उसी जर्नी में जा रहे हो मेरे को लग रहा है. 10 साल गायब हो जाओगे.
Yeah, just I don't want to anymore. It's just like I don't want to do it just for the sake of doing it also. फिर तो फर्क ही क्या रह जाए मेरे में और कोई एक न्यूज़ चैनल में क्या फर्क रहता है? हर दिन कंटेंट ही डालते हैं.
तो तुमको लगता है it took me some time to process it also. तो हाँ हम लोग हर दिन कंटेंट डालते हैं.
No, it's just like, so many news channels in this country, and so many and barely news people are covering news.
Yeah, that's true.
The people with resources are actually not hitting the road. People without resources like your company, look at we are hitting the road with this guy. The people who can afford to do it in luxury BMW, they won't hit the road like this and show the place around and how metro is in working and for like years it's stuck. They won't go outside of the studio.
I don't think people get an idea how big you are. I would say that you're probably India's #1 comedian. Ask me why.
I mean, in terms of number, I am not, but I would love to believe that. Thank you for that. But that's very nice of you.
But
Sweet
why?
of you, right?
I'm not saying this even like qualitatively. I'm saying this in terms of success rate only. So, if you look at return on investment, no,
Oh,
you must
yeah.
be the most successful entertainer, comedian, to nahi, only the most successful person in the entire entertainment industry. If you look at how much you put into it in terms of how much capital you had, social, social capital,
Yeah.
physical capital, money, gimme, all of that. So in that sense, your return on investment is some 5,000% or 10,000%?
Yeah, I would definitely
100,000%.
strongly agree to that, because this makes, like, I always think of this, like, this is so crazy, right? Like, one couple of small decisions in my life and how I wanted my life to look like has changed my life completely. I would have been a labor or some kind of max to max. I would be a farmer there. I wanted to be a garage mechanic also. Those kind of things that was the max. The height of dreams I had was garage mechanic, and the biggest dream was, like, which felt unachievable, was teacher.
Wow.
Right? And now
your father is like, मेरा बेटा business class में जा रहा है.
oh yeah, now they teach me in UBC. I found out that University of British Columbia, they teach my comedy there. I'm like,
Wow.
a guy who was bullied by the teacher all the time for taking reservation in school.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
Because I suppose you're the only comedian whose parents must be proud of him in a sense, because बाकियों को तो बोलते होंगे कि बिजनेस में लग जाइए, क्या कर रहा है,
yeah.
फैमिली का बिजनेस है, इतना बड़ा जायदाद है, इसको इनहेरिट करके बैठ जाओ साउथ बॉम्बे में, ये कॉमेडी वगैरह क्यों कर रहे हो, है? और उल्टा हम पे केस वगैरह लग रहा है. हम इज्जतदार लोग हैं, हैं? घर पे ऐसा करके केस लेके आ रहे हो.
My parents are very proud of me, which is because they haven't found the scary part of it, but still they're really proud of me. They were like, इस पे बात कर, इस पे भी बात कर.
अच्छा.
ये कुछ नया डिस्कवर किए कास्ट के बारे में या गवर्नमेंट के बारे में, इस पे भी बात कर. उनको मालूम नहीं पड़ता कि मेरे को गाली भी पड़ता है बल्कि. And they can't digest the fact that somebody can not love their son. They're like, oh, my son is lovable. Everybody loves him. It took time. I didn't
पेरेंट्स के लिए तो हम लोग सब कुछ ही है, लवेबल है, the most good looking person on earth. According to my mom is me only. And मम्मी को गुस्सा आता है कि ये ऐसा कैसे शूट कर दिया तुम्हारे लोगों ने, you look so much better than this. And I said, मम्मी, only you think. Oh, speaking of mummy, since we are starting the show, I want to tell my mummy, if she's listening, please don't listen to the show, or if you can't digest and stomach some of this stuff, this is going to be edgy. कुछ swear वगैरह कर देगा मंजीत. And then I'll have to cut a sorry figure in front of my mom. So those of you who have like sorry aunties and uncles, if you have a weak stomach, this is the disclaimer that for you, it might be a good idea to step out. This show you can miss. This is a very missable show. This is my most missable show of the year.
It's doing too much. I'm a nice person actually. I'm a very sweetheart.
ये सेक्स के बारे में जोक्स बनाता है. अंकल मैं बोल रहा हूँ, सही में आंटी मैं बोल रहा हूँ ये ना.
Uncle auntie had sex. That's why you are here. By the way, they know all this. Don't worry about it.
But भाई सेक्स के बारे में तो हर कोई जोक्स बनाता है. तुम कास्ट के बारे में बनाते हो. जो लोग सेक्स के बारे में जोक बना के हिट बन गए हैं.
Well,
you know.
I can't wait for you. I hope you watch the special. There's where I say that.
Tell me about the special. What is the special? Special
is like a comedian's biggest achievement. One of the biggest achievement is like how a rapper or singers, their work, their entire work is an album.
Mm-hmm.
Like until a singer or an artist don't have an album, they don't feel complete. Or like album is what they represent.
Sure, okay.
Like that, a comedian has a special. It's a comedy album. 1 hour of jokes, and it's not just 1 hour of joke. The joke has an entire motive. The inside is one, and the entire 1 hour of joke revolves around that one inside.
Oh.
And that's how you write a special, right? So my special is coming out where I talk about like I do a couple of sex jokes and I tell them like, see, in India to do comedy you need to do sex jokes, sexist joke, or else you won't sustain. I have to make money. Sexist joke I don't do, but sex joke I have to do, and I can do sex joke. But ask their favorite comedian if they can talk about caste, you know. So that is something that won't be done. All the people who talk about, all the woke comedians also in this country, right? They would talk about the Muslims are in danger, the government is a problem, and all these problems, all this thing. But everything they will do, they won't touch the topic caste, because they also know which caste they belong to. So like if they start addressing that, then how will they, like, they don't do it because they have to accept where they come from, right? So the guilt, they don't want to take the guilt.
And do you get a sense ki, and I don't know how to say this without alarming people or perhaps even offending them, ki it is still easier to do jokes and comedy. Sex to easiest hi hai, but on communalism, on gender, you know, because if the kind of pushback you get is from progressives. ये जो so-called progressive बोल के जो घूम रहे हैं ये लोग, the people who are saying, oh, I'm a, you know, secular comedian, I'm an anti-Modi comedian, all that, still has a fraternity.
But they don't like me either. They don't like me either. Just the thing is, and also the so-called edgy comedians, all this thing in this country, they, in the name of dark comedy, they talk about marginalized people, LGBT people, anti-human jokes and all. So the thing is, dark comedy was always a thing where you talk about things that are really scary to talk about. Like you couldn't, back in the days, you couldn't talk about race like how you could do now. So that is dark comedy. Or like talking about dead babies or dark comedy in America because it's a Christian country. And talking about dead babies in Christian country is dark comedy. Or talking things about Christ or anything Catholic. So that was dark comedy back then. Now in India, you talking about anti-human, all this thing as a dark comedy. Is it really hard to talk about anti-human things in India? You think, like, is it really hard to talk about transgender people in India?
Point, bro.
It's the easiest thing to target. Even like your grandma would do better jokes, like worse joke as in like to demean transgender people. So there should be a difference between you and your grandma. She is not even a professional comedian. If you have to rely on easy joke, and then you call dark joke, is like talk about our supreme leader, no? And then we'll talk about it.
Right.
So that is dark joke. So either you do this and acknowledge that you are doing it because you are
Lord Ram.
Sorry?
Supreme leader matlab kaun? Lord Ram.
The supreme leader? No, not Lord Ram. God and all. I don't touch the topic of religion at all.
Acha.
Supreme leader is the one that we selected to run our country. So that's what supreme leader is for me.
I didn't select. You selected.
I am in a country like, so I don't blame the government at all. I do in a particular places. I blame the public because they got the seats and they are in the power because somebody gave them the power.
Sure, yeah.
So, abhi kuch hoega, so they will realize whenever something bad happens, people have to pay for the price. Like in America, recent election, all the Indians were like going goo guys, like they were really mad about like Trump and all. Both the candidates I did not like anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whom I like or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm Indian. But like they were so happy about Trump winning. First thing he did is said like about citizenship. You can't get citizenship easily. That made me happy. So similarly, these things makes me happy. You voted for somebody, you did something, so you'll deserve something. If you voted this guy, he won't oppress somebody from Bhutan, no. He will come after your life only. So yeah, I'm mostly comedian in the Indian scene and all. They do talk about anti-human stuff and on this thing, and they consider themselves dark, which I feel very stupid. That's the easiest thing. I can do anti-human joke 10 top of my head, and it's not because I'm sexist, it's because the surrounding on the society I grew up around. I hear this probably 10 times every day. Yes. and you can't do nothing about it because how many people you wanna go and stop and teach something?
Right. And yet, so you know that I keep getting this very Dave Chappelle vibe from you, and the reason I get that is because you are not doing sexist humor, but you're speaking to people who are talking about sexism and managing to point out their contradictions also. Okay, you're talking about feminism, you're talking about the left, you're talking about so many other things, and while you are not a right winger, okay, you're able to see the contradictions in the left.
Yeah.
And, and that for me is very exciting because that shows that here is not a tickle me comedian.
Yeah.
My most irritating thing about a lot of comedians is that tickle me. And I feel ashamed when I laugh with them, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Because yes, I've been tickled. It's a reflex action. Yeah, okay, fine, I'm laughing, But it is not like exciting me intellectually. And I'm sorry to expect that out of you. You are a dumb comedian.
Yeah.
But this man is not a comedian. This man is a satirist. I see you as a satirist. I see you as a commentator. I see you as somebody who is, it's like sardonic. It's not like ha 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 kind of,
Yeah.
But then and of course your hooks are crazy. Do you call it a hook or do you call it a punch or what do you call it?
Punchline.
Punchline. Yeah.
So I normally for Dave Chappelle is the reason why I started doing comedy. My entire comedy career is because I was inspired by him so much.
You can give me a compliment on my keen observation skills.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, sir, by the way. Really? I'm not plugging you or anything like that. I didn't know you're inspired by Chappelle, but I could get that vibe.
Oh no, I before knowing what comedy is,
Yeah.
I saw one of his video, and at that time when I didn't even speak English or understood English, I just felt something just watching him, and that's the day I realized that I should start doing comedy, and that's how it is. So he is my inspiration in every level. Like he does a lot of stupid thing also. It's not I'm
Blind bhakt nahi ho tu. Okay, andha bhakt.
Yeah, I love what he does as an art form, as a human being also, but he does a lot of stupid shit. It's like human. You need flaws.
Tell me about the stupid shit. What do you think is?
His last special sucks.
Really?
His last special is bad.
I'm gonna check it out.
I really, because I was so sad as a fan.
Oh.
But like all his body of work, right, is like insane. It's like philosophy. That's what I like. He's not just a comedian. Of course, he's a philosopher. And in my movie, Varun Gruber talks about it. Comedian's job is not to make them laugh, because the audience who come to watch comedy in this country are pretty much privileged and they have money. They can just watch a TikTok video and laugh and like see their bank balance and laugh. You can't comfort them. They don't need comfort through comedy in this country. They have already comfort, right? So when I talk about these things,
they don't need comfort. They probably need contempt. They like the kind of comedy which is making fun of people who are thin, fat,
so that they feel comfortable.
They feel comfortable कि दूसरों पे हंसो type.
Yeah, so that and me talking about what I do is.
ये नहीं हो कपिल शर्मा type का cross dress करके कुत्तों. I know. I just hate it. Yeah.
Like if you really want, then you can't, like, diversity hire is not even a thing when they came to Netflix also. But what I talk about it is because that's what I saw when I came to, because my life was pretty much like all my life I grew up in a village, and then I went to a tier 2 city, and then I came tier 3 city, and then I came here. All my life I was traveling, and I could not notice how different everything is, and specifically here. And then when I realized that right people were never talking to us, like the community or people I belong to,
right.
And left people, they're trying to talk about us, but I could not relate to them anymore, like at all. Like when I came to city, the people they so-called talk about Dalits and all, I couldn't relate. I'm like, but do you realize the larger portion of the Dalits can't relate to you? What you're talking about is very different, and in terms of progression, even in women empowerment and all, I know as a man about feminism and all, the best I should do is shut the fuck up. That's I should do. But nobody's talking about my mom, right? Like I would like to, like there are women who are like my mom in rural India way more. Like I'm repeating again, 80% of population lives there.
Sure.
And I want them to, if you are talking about any kind of women empowerment, like let's say, like in, for example, equal pay, I would really appreciate if they start from Manrega.
Mhm.
Unlike not in a place where coffee machine is there, air condition is there, she has a car to drive back home. I would like to appreciate if they start the topic from Manrega, where people are like working in heat, summer, sun, while being pregnant and still not getting minimum wage. So forget about equal pay, right? So that kind of thing bothers me, and let's talk about it. Probably, maybe they will hate me or they will like me, but I will feel better talking about it than what bothers me outside.
What bothers you? And the show is called What's Your Ism, no, Manjeet?
Yeah.
And I kind of lost the wind in my lungs because of all your takes on different isms. Oh goodness. When I was imagining this conversation, now so we are like almost halfway through our conversation, pata hi nahi chala. Okay, and I was imagining a completely different segment by segment jayenge and all of that. One of the segments I wanted to do with you is to throw up an ism,
Yeah.
okay, and then get you to respond to it, or throw up a personality and then allow you to riff on them.
Yeah.
You know, how, for example, what do you think of feminism, no? Huh? And being somebody who's not making misogynist jokes, being somebody that's what I like. I said, while you're making fun of feminists, okay, you're not being misogynist. How is that?
I can't be misogynist because I don't hate anyone, right? So misogyny is if I go through the Google definition of misogynist, is somebody who hates women. How can I can't hate anyone. Like, how can I hate? I'm talking about my mom because I'm coming from love and like the pain that I'm coming from. The what
यार mom को तो हर कोई love कर सकता है.
नहीं,
Misogyny तो उसके बारे में नहीं है.
I'm in general, like that's what I was a child labor. My mom was a labor. My dad was a labor. My entire family was a labor. So I'm coming from that angle, that what I lived, what my mom lived, and what so many people like my mom lives in, like in general, people in rural India lives. Why we are not even a conversation in their movement or something, like we are not even there, like, and you are supposed to talk about this thing, right? So that's why I just wanted to, like, okay, let me talk to you. I don't have any kind of hatred towards any community. That is very hard to believe for the people who see me as Dalit also, right? Because
हमने उनके साथ इतना कुछ कर दिया and they still don't hate us.
Exactly. because guess what? My inspiration is Ambedkar, right? He was never biased. Like when it came to give rights, he could have given he could have biased towards Dalits, but he acknowledged every part of it. Like when you come to given right to women, giving vote and like education and like owning land, he addressed that in the Savarna crowd also. But when that was a paper cut, right? It's like acknowledging paper cut with a what do you call that? A band-aid and wound with first aid, right? We saw that the Dalit community or SCST community was wounded, so they gave a couple of more acts, which is necessary. Or else I wouldn't be here sitting next to you, or you wouldn't be here driving this because you are also Dalit. So that's what. So I am a big fan of him, and I see that that I am very much inspired by that factor, that you have to have that kind of mentality of like having empathy. Like, okay, let me see. I can't hate him.
Right. But growing up in Bastar and all that, is he visible? Is Ambedkar visible?
No. No. I didn't even know Dalit as a word.
Acha.
We call it different there, right? We call it Namo Shudro in my area. Or because most of the people, like, it is the Dalit and Adivasi population is much more, right?
Right.
And Dalit,
Adivasi more than Dalit, I would imagine.
Yeah. The Adivasi population is way more. The thing is, when we came outside here, then I heard the term Dalit. We know like untouchable, we have their own term, and then like
here, matlab Bangalore.
No. And that's like in where I grew up. I won't tell you the name.
After you filmed also.
Yeah, but like we call it Nomo Shudra in Mongolia.
Right.
And there is a thing called Khasiya. which is again ST community, they are also derogatory term. So those kind of things. Chandal is my derogatory term. So I did not know myself as Dalit. I knew I'm Chandal / Namoshudra, right? So
Where did you discover the term?
which one?
Dalit, the term, where did you discover it?
After coming to Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Yeah. Because I thought.
पहली बार सुना जब याद आया. I mean, it must have been after Bangalore. मतलब you were already grown and all that.
Yeah.
So do you remember first time कैसे? How did you suddenly encounter it? हमारे बारे में ही बात कर रहे हैं.
No, I knew that Untouchables and all and the Shudra I used to think is Dalit.
Oh yeah.
Because
same here.
I'm
No, a lot of people think that. I used to also think that. Huh?
because I'm Nomo Shudra, right?
Yeah.
It's connected to that, like, oh, it's the closest to Shudra. Maybe we are different kind of Shudras. That's a Nomo Shudra.
Right.
We're like, oh, please, enough is enough. We are namaste kar raha hu. Chhod do hame akela. That's a Nomo Shudra. But I did not know that. I don't remember how I discovered, but like that I've discovered here. I used to think this untouchability and all this caste thingy is very limited to where I come from. Maybe the out of India has evolved, and so I did not know it's here also. Like city, I used to think also city people don't have casteism, all this thing, right? So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to get out of that place as well. And yeah, Gujarat ka gaadi number hai, of course. Yeah, so that is it. I discovered later. Then I realized, oh, idhar bhi hai. Bas terminology thoda alag hai, and the things are very different. The casteism are a little different.
Yeah.
And there are layer of casteism. People who are progressive also on this thing. You know, another thing I talk.
Progressive लोगों के बारे में क्या लगता है तुमको?
Oh, I talk about in my special a lot. One of the reasons I'll sum up with one thing. In Indian progressive families are scarier to me because they are like very similar to Bengal and Kerala casteism. They have convinced you that they are not casteist, and they are matriarchal society, which is scary because they are very much sexist and casteist, right? So the Indian progressive family is like they will accept if their son or daughter come out the closet, but they won't accept if a Dalit comes in their house, right? So,
Right.
That is the situation of Indian progressiveness. When it comes to marrying my daughter, there I draw a line. You can be friends with Dalits and all. I'll talk about Dalit is very oppression and all. Dalits are going through a lot. Would you ever let your daughter marry a Dalit guy? Not even well-to-do Dalit guy, let's say. Let's say because of no, they draw the line. That's very hard for them.
And what about progressive icons? I understand you have a particular love for Tagore. I mean, you're a big fan of like you get goosebumps when you listen to Robindra Sangeet, and you are your poetry is influenced by his poetry, I believe. Is that true?
Yeah. I love him so much. I talk about him for like 15 minutes in my comedy special where oh god, I love him. I discovered
he talks about Dalits and all. So nice, so sweet, and
he had some couple of Dalit slaves around him also. He loved them so much. He couldn't live without them. He just had to be with them.
And then he's writing about caste also.
Oh yeah, he was writing. He's like, he was a landowner. So he was like how landowner takes land from Dalits and it is really bad. So, and it is like he was not. I think he was a nice person. You know, he was snatching Dalits' land so that he could feel how it feels, so that he can write about it on his book. It's not like ऐसा ही कुछ लिख देगा. He has to experience it, right? कि हाँ दलित लोगों का लैंड छीना मैंने, बहुत बुरा होता है यार, मत करो. Yeah, Tagore and all Bengalis have a very vicious history that nobody talks about. You know, when it comes to the partition, when it comes to the constant famine, when it comes to the kind of casteism which is extremely complex, and different than rest of India.
Yeah.
And the class divide in thing, the poverty, so many things in Bengal is crazy, and they don't see Bengal as being, and the kind of traumas they have about apart from the caste, like the social things, the famine and the riots. So many riots happen. Till now, when we talk about partition,
Yeah.
people, so many people, I can just ask couple of people on the street, do you know what do you think about partition? They will think of India and Pakistan partition. And a lot of people don't even know about India and Bangladesh partition.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And the two of us are a product of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So many people got
And one thing I kind of it's become a passion of mine, and I hope I will be able to write about it, which is that our partition also, Bengal,
yeah.
it's so much, it's narrated so much from the point of view of the Bhadralok,
Oh yeah.
that it seems like, and हमारा कोई history नहीं है भाई. The fact that our community suffered the most, and these guys came off to CR Park, no?
Yeah.
We went to Dom Dom, no?
This
So
is
my people, so I discovered my family.
this is what I talk about.
Acha.
My,
So what I did? Obviously, for us, the entire thing is where everybody wants to know who am I, right?
yeah.
And there's entire philosophies and theories around, you have to discover yourself, who am I? And हमारे लिए who am I is like, where do I come from?
Yeah.
So my dad was not very interested, but I dragged him, went to Dom Dom, gully,
Yeah.
looking for our family. And dad has last seen them when he was a child.
Oh wow.
All right. And karte we went and found them out.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I kind of also was a little crazy about doing it, and I was obsessed about doing it, is because I felt like, wait, CR Park ka history hai. How from Bangladesh they landed up in Delhi. How from Bangladesh they just hopped across the border and stayed in Dom Dom. Who were the people who were settled in Dom Dom? We were doing all the searching in Dom Dom, by the way.
Dalit migration has a crazy history to it, and you said that it is not documented because it is not documented because there's so many bad things about it and so many biasness about it that they don't, if they write about it, because Dalit couldn't write back then.
Yeah.
So why would they? How
Same
would they?
Tagore
Write?
phenomenon, no?
Yeah. So,
I mean, it was actually Tagore was Dalit.
yeah.
Do
Tagore was
something.
Dalit. I mean, I remember if Tagore was Dalit, what? I don't know. I don't want to say my jokes here. So go watch my special. He's just asking me to do my jokes here. I'm not doing it.
No. But I tried to steal one. He's not letting it go. But yeah, this thing is something that is upon us, no Manjeet.
No, yeah. So
We are the ones who have to now go and find that history out.
I want to do it, So my dad really wanted to go back. So my Thakuma came alone as a lady, like Thakuma and my Thakurda, my granddad came. When they came, their entire family was massacred already, right? And then they came here. My granddad died on that process only, and she was there. And imagine that lady had to, like, in a new country all of a sudden, took care of 6 babies, like, and build a life all alone here. So,
Do you at least know which part of
yeah,
where is it?
my Thakuma is from Borishal, my Thakurda is from Faridpur. Yeah,
My
bro.
people are from, I know that my grandfather from Meerpur,
Hmm.
but I don't know Thakuma, I have no clue.
I'm very close to my Thakuma. So because I've never seen my Thakurda. My Thakurda, my dad also don't remember his face. He has died when my dad was around 5-6 years old.
Same with my dad, but in his case, he lost both of them. So I've never seen them.
I'm very close to my Thakuma. Hopefully, yeah. So I really wanted to go and check out and look for my. I see if anyone has still alive or something. My dad wanted to go with me and see.
I don't know, my dad is not very interested. I am very interested.
No, my dad is very. That's why my dad is a philosopher kind of person. We
Really?
watch the film, he's just dropping bars. It's just
The
only.
film is launching.
Film is now we are roaming around with the film to film festival to film festival. I made a film also. He didn't introduce me about it. So the film is called Untouchable Laughing Out Cast. It is right now we are on a world tour, doing test screenings and also applying for a couple of film festivals, hopefully. And we got some crazy response. We got so crazy response. How would I tell you that they want to buy my movie in Toronto University to teach it? It's so
Wow,
crazy.
they're going to buy it. I hope you get $1 million for it. Don't sell it for anything less.
No, so no. That much they want. It's like a library thing has a movie thing. So I have to give it to library and they will buy it from rent it from library. So Queen's University and Toronto has asked so far, and UBC, 3 universities, and now USA also would ask. Gangster Boom. The entire plot about the film, which is the idea why I wanted to make a film being a comedian, is that nobody makes it about Dalit. And I also, till now, all the Dalit related documentaries I have seen in my life is they show it like pity and sadness. Oh my God, look at this Dalit guy, so sad, his life sucks. I wanted to show something which is gangster, something like we do have other emotions too. We can achieve it. Like, why you have to show it a Dalit story with always the guy who is showing the story is coming with a superiority or like savior complex, right? We don't need it. I can do it. Like, we have people who has done it, and I don't know how we'll see how much problem. Like, it is pretty hard, but we still do it. That's the idea to make that film. So yeah.
Right. And when did you say it's launching?
It won't launch in this year or next year also. 1 year it will take, and it will go around film festival to film festivals. Yeah. Not in India, mostly outside of India is the plan. Right. So that is.
And the special, when is that going on air?
February 14, because 15 I'm leaving India for Canada a couple of months. So if anything, this people come after me, I am still like good, like healthy.
Yeah.
Because I know people, like, if they got offended for that joke, that YouTube video joke, they got offended, they were after my life. If they got offended for that joke, this 1 hour of joke will bother them a lot.
Wow.
I run through it through my lawyer. She's like, you are saying nothing illegal. It's just jokes and everything is on point.
Yeah.
Law won't be after you, but are you sure you want to talk about it, bro?
Yeah. You should know.
Yeah, that's why I named my special. Let's talk about it.
Right. This is Johnson Market, Manjeet.
Mm-hmm.
One of the places I really love. I first discovered it through my dad.
Oh wow.
And he used to work in a courier company.
Oh.
So all these courier people, the delivery people, okay, they would all mostly congregate here.
Yeah.
And one beautiful system they had, they could be working for whichever courier company, but they would come here and then they were like, okay, you do that area, I'll do this area. So you give me all your this area packets.
Okay.
You take these packets and and they were all friends working for like a variety of courier companies.
So trading they used to do.
Trading. So then luckily my dad would get only one area, and then we would go, like, I would be on his TVS 50. Okay. And we would go deliver. I'd love it. Okay. And then so often we would have food at this place called Select. Now it's called New Select.
Okay, wow.
It's still the old place.
Yeah. Made a huge change, huh? Just change the name and everything about it will change.
Yeah. New डाल दिया.
Yeah.
ये सब नहीं था उस टाइम पे. बहुत posh हो रहा है ये area आजकल.
Yeah, everything will be posh now. Easy. Nice.
Johnson Market, Richmond Town, Shanti Nagar.
Richmond Town, something I'm aware of.
Yeah, there's this really nice, cemetery also. Very beautiful Christian cemeteries over here.
It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
I've been there. I mean, I've never been there, but I've passed through it a couple of times. I've seen it. Wow.
When I joined Christ College, all these extra cool people, and you're still trying to figure out how to be all this cool and all that.
Yeah.
So to run away from them, I used to get off at the stop and go into that cemetery, spend like half a day there, do 2-3 classes, and then go home around se. Go to a place where people die to get back life.
Okay. You know, Sudipto is little psycho. This guy is bunking class and going to cemetery.
Cemetery.
Is cemetery a bar? No, it's literally a cemetery. So you grew up around this area?
No. This is not where I grew up. This is city. This is the main central city. And for me, it was very exciting. Like dad will be like, "Hey, city chalo." City ja rahe hai, why city? Because that's the way we talk over here. So the suburbs or the slightly out where I grew up was that back then little bit suburb outskirts वगैरह.
Yeah.
अभी तो नहीं है. So city जा रहे हैं मतलब it should be a big deal. Oh, by the way, this is a big center for Shia Islam. Okay. So Shias are a super small minority in Karnataka, India also, I suppose. I don't know. But in Karnataka, this is the biggest Shia. This area has the biggest Shia mosque. This is a Shia structure, for example.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Hussain Chowk, Hasul Khana is it. Hussain is one of the Hassan Hussain. You know, the two important figures in the Shia thing. March Bazar. So this is the old Johnson market, okay? Who Johnson was and all that, please, people can Google and all. But the best thing over here is the beef stalls. Of course, you get beef readily everywhere in Bangalore.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing about the beef stalls over here is you can ask them for, how do you put it, like European cuts. So you can tell them by T-bone, filet mignon,
brisket and all that.
Yeah, briskets and...
Yeah, I learned it this time.
This is the... What do you call that? Bakra and all that, and that side is the beef and all.
They butcher it here only, no?
Yeah. I love the way they, particularly in Johnson Market for some reason, and Russell Market, these are the two largely Muslim-owned markets. The way they decorate the stuff, no? It's so nicely.
That's pretty neat.
Do you like vegetable shopping?
I do my vegetable shopping myself. I love to cook. I make sure I cook and I feed people also.
For me, this is as beautiful as a bouquet, okay?
Yeah, and the best part about it is like, despite being a non-veg oriented market, it doesn't smell that much and it's clean.
Yeah.
So that is something. Begun, Shimla mirch, it's crazy. This is something, this kind of brinjal is not, it's pretty new for me. When I came to Bangalore,
this is very urbanish kind of, it's not like a, it's farm.
Yeah, it is very much
nati nahi hai, matlab it's not.
Yeah, it's not organic.
Organic, yeah.
This is also, I discovered this very late in my life.
Sheem though.
Yeah,
I have this. This is sheem.
We didn't have it when I grew up.
So what's the okay of these vegetables? Which are your most common at home?
A lot of things are not even available.
This is most common in our place.
Saag.
This is common.
This.
Gajar to of course.
Jhinga,
yeah.
Bindi, Begun, Mulo.
Yeah. Korala to yeah, I love korala. Do you like korala?
Yeah, I love it. But like what we have back in home is very small one, and that's even bitter.
Right.
But somehow my mom makes it and it is amazing.
Right.
Yeah. So this and all, and like we have lot of saag, we call it, right? And crazy varieties of saag, and then we eat like flour of pumpkin and lot different kind of flowers, and then pumpkin plant itself we make it and eat it, and it's crazy, it's beautiful. The Dalit food specifically from the Bengal is so crazy because everything they eat mostly is because they eat it because they had no other choices, and it became tastier. And because Bengal faced the most number of famine in this country.
Man, I discovered this thing, like you have to go somewhere else to discover who you are. No? So in New York, I had this long list of things I wanted to eat, okay? Filet mignon, buffalo steak, and what do you call that? Oysters. All of that.
Lobsters.
By the first fortnight, I was like, bhai, bhook lag raha hai, I don't know what to eat. I have like money also, I have a long list also, but it's not appealing to me, okay?
Yeah.
And I started suddenly getting a little anxious almost, and I'm roaming around in the city. Suddenly I see this Bengali board, okay?
Yeah.
I was like, no, that can't be. Okay, it can't be. I go near, sure enough, it's a Bengali restaurant.
Bangladeshi restaurant.
I'm like, শাক আছে? হ্যাঁ। চচ্চড়ি আছে? হ্যাঁ। মানে পোস্ত আছে? হ্যাঁ। মাছ আছে? হ্যাঁ। I'm like, please save my life. That's when I discovered that I'm a real bhatua.
Oh, this time I had Bangladeshi food. This is the first time I had proper Bangladeshi food in
it's the same,
Toronto.
More or less, no?
Yeah, this is like I have it in my house. Of course, like.
Favorite seat?
This one?
This is my favorite seat.
And your dad used to sit there?
I used to ask for the window seat always.
Okay.
This is the only window in the house. And I used to look out from here.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I really love this pattern. this
thing, no, the roof. Yeah,
this is so beautiful.
yeah. It's a very Kerala style.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Bangalore's beef culture, beef food, and all these biryanis and all of that owes a lot to Mallus and Kerala cooks. So
Oh.
this place also, I'm guessing, yeah, it is run now. I don't know who it's run by, but started by a Malayali.
So I had first time I started eating like beef really very recently because I couldn't do it. I had a pet. That's the only reason I couldn't do it because I would be like, oh, her face is
A pet
coming.
cow. Oh.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, it's been long that she's gone. Like I'm over her now. And also I'm traveling abroad and the best cuisine of there I'm not able to try just because I'm like being sad and guilty about it. So I'm like, let me have it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, of course.
I had this Bangladeshi mangsho, kosha mangsho, their style. Oh, bhai sahab, it was the best thing I've ever.
Where was this?
It was in Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah, and then I started eating sauces and all. I'm like, this is so good. It's so good. It's not heavy and it's so tasty.
Yeah.
So I'm regular now. I started doing it, but it's beautiful.
Thanks for helping me bring out this memory.
Yeah, no, I'm really happy that I got to share it with you.
Thank you, man.
So I eat a lot. Like wherever I go,
Yeah.
I at least try to eat different cuisine, as many different cuisine as I can possibly do. Right. So in India, I explored most of the cuisine, and right now my favorite cuisine is northeastern cuisine, like
Oh, of course.
Naga and Mizo.
Yeah.
Mizo cuisine is like all-time favorite, and Assamese, of course. Assamese cuisine is closest to Bangladeshi food.
Or Bengali food or whatever.
No, Bengali food is
it's
very
a cusp,
different.
man. Like beach mein nahi hai.
No. So Bengali food is very different than Bangladeshi food. Indian Bengali food is, they don't like, how do I say it? It's not like that. It's very little sweet.
Sweetie, na?
And like it's like creamy, and we don't like creamy. We are like, you need like little spicy. You need to have that flavor. And Bangladesh people, they are like
Jhaaj, it's not even jhal.
yes. It's like, and because they are working class, most of the people over there were working class. They were farmers and all, so they needed that kind of.
They need on kick to get them up and go.
Yeah. So Assami cuisine is pretty. Their pork is beautiful. They have something called caramelized onion pork. Smoky caramelized onion pork.
Wow.
Yeah, sounds already delicious. And now I'll go back home and have it. There is a place next to my house. Yeah.
All right, this show kind of went a little out of hand. We went looking for a small snack in Johnson Market, and we could. For some reason today, my favorite restaurant was closed, and we went to Neil Sandra. I showed you some of that. I'm happy I got to, display that part of my city to you. But as a result, I think we need a moment's silence to discuss the next three things that I want to bring up. BBM,
Okay. Yeah.
which is Bangalore, Bangladesh, and Motua.
Yes. That's me. All of them. I represent all three.
Me too. I mean, not Motua.
Yeah.
That's a tradition, I suppose, that my ancestors left behind.
Yeah.
For what reason, who knows? I want to discover. And but anyways, let's start with Bangalore. What has it given you? You think? Because I have a very, very soft corner, obviously, for the city. You've heard me say this many times. But what does it mean to you as an artist?
As an artist, as a human being, I think Bangalore was something that made me who I am, like kind of thing. Like before, like I started comedy in Mumbai. First, I did in Bhubaneswar, and it is not a good city to do comedy till now. And I started back in the days when nothing was there.
They have no sense of humor, but they're a joke also.
I guess they have sense of humor. They threw out their chief minister, and their new chief minister didn't buy new buses, but what they did is the old buses, they painted them orange. So that's that's funnier than any comedian can crack a joke. But then I went to Mumbai, and Mumbai it was very hard to crack in Mumbai because Mumbai had this elite mindset. Where in the comedy scene also they were like hierarchy kind of thing too, and for obvious reason people are selling tickets, you can't go get there, and comedy used to happen till now. It only happens where rich people lives, right? So like
a guy who came from village, like who couldn't speak English or Hindi either.
So Hindi is also.
No, not my language, right? So I started speaking. I learned in English, sorry, Hindi for comedy. And later I learned English for comedy too. So I had to, and the kind of what do you call that? The inferiority complex I had, and on top of it, people were actually judgy. So that didn't help either, right? So you, uh, uh, already somebody is laughing. I felt like they are laughing at me, but when you realize they're actually laughing at you, then it's even hit harder. So but I couldn't sustain there because of two reasons. I couldn't pursue my art mostly because of money. It's very expensive. It was crazy expensive. So I left it, and I looked for a city which is affordable and I can do comedy also. And then I chose Bangalore. I came here, and it was pretty much same, but like uh, it was not that chaotic like Mumbai, and you could not feel it on your face. The Now it became little bit like Mumbai, Bangalore. Like people has become entitled and not nice. Like the local people are super nice. Like people who are from here, the people who come from outside, they are not that nice. I'll tell you the reason also why I feel so. Because um, be it in India, North Indian side or any side of people who start earning money, they do look down on people, right? Already, if they don't earn money, also they look down on people. Now, imagine somebody is coming here, which means they have a good job, like good paying job, so they have money, so they feel or more entitled, and they feel that they can be not nice to a lot of people. I am pretty, people are very nice to me now because I am also part of that group where I make money. But when I see things like that, I it's like it takes me back where I was the same person who used to deal with things like this, right?
Yeah.
So Bangalore I shifted, and that was the best decision I made. Like, and Bangalore, another thing, as an artist, how you see Bangalore? Well, Bangalore is a place where you can struggle comfortably. Does that make sense? Like, yeah, it is very nice, and also it is very hard to make it from Bangalore. Because if you have noticed, most of the people who make big moves in comedy are from Delhi or Mumbai. So you have to travel a lot, keep on going to Mumbai and all. But I do whenever I have to do, and most of the time I'm outside of Bangalore, but I don't leave Bangalore though, because I have a home base here. If I'm right now, I'm on a world tour right now, and for like 1 year I won't be in India, and still I want Bangalore. I'm still keep on paying the rent here because I want to call Bangalore my home. So that's the connection. I love it here.
Interesting. Okay, I forgot another B in between, which is Bastar. And good you brought up this thing. So not a lot of people realize that just because you're from Bastar, Chhattisgarh, or whatever, that you need not speak Hindi,
I don't know.
because they imagine that Chhattisgarh is part of this Hindi belt. How wrong that is? Can you give us a sense of that?
So the thing is,
Because you said no, that you didn't know Hindi either. It's not just English.
I didn't speak. I understood it because of the movies and all you watch. Like a lot of Bengalis or a lot of Odia people also, they do understand Hindi because you can't avoid it. Like it's like everywhere they implement that. That's the thing. When the South Indian people, they talk about implication of Hindi, I understand, right? Because that impacted, like. That's a different story whether it helped me or not, because I didn't need it, but whatever, right? So I didn't started speaking Hindi until 2017. 2018 I started doing comedy. 2017 I started practicing it with friends and all.
It's amazing. That's so. I was interviewing this band called Parvaz the other day, and the lead vocalist and somebody who's probably the centerpiece of the band is somebody who said that for me the sound is important, the lyrics come as a derivative. Okay, and for him that language is not important, and you can very easily understand the case of a musician why that may be the case. So the sound is more. Now in your case, okay, again the language is not important. It is the idea, and in that it somehow seems to me a little bit of a similar case where your comedy transcends language.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of people rely so much, and I see other comedians that, yes, there is the craft, there is this how the joke lands, the timing and all of that is important, but also the fact that they are not having to contend with language also, because that's coming to them default.
Yeah.
then the rest they have to focus on is the craft and the, the technology of comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, but in your case, oh my goodness, that's one of the things which I find very fascinating.
I mean, the thing is, I never had a language to call my own, right? So because I'm a Bengali, but I grew up in a tribal area, so I spoke tribal languages. The first language of, like, the first word I spoke. That's what my mom and dad tells me, that the first word came from my mouth was not ma baba, it was guchna, which is it is actually Koraputia, Nabarangpuria, and Chhattisgarhia also, which translate to back off, man.
Wow.
The first word was Guchna. So I spoke tribal languages. Then I went to school in Odisha, because they, at that time, they had better education, and also free midday meal. Free midday meal was the bigger reason why I chose the school in Odisha. So I study Odia throughout my life, and then and later I went to college, and then all of a sudden it's English only. So I never could see what language I speak in. When I came to Mumbai, Bangalore, I only spoke in Hindi for a certain amount of time. From last 2 years, I'm only surrounded by people who speak English. So I don't even know what language I'm comfortable on. Like, right now, from last couple of months or 1 year, I think in English. Before that, I used to think in Hindi. Before that, in Odia. And I don't even know what I used to think in as a kid, but that was the thing. So I do have a thing called language crisis. That is not a crisis, but I mean, that's a good thing only if you know a lot of languages. But you can't own a vocab with that. Comedy is an art form where you need to know a lot of vocabulary. For example, this is an art form where you have to paint a picture solely yours. Like, you can't use b-rolls or any shot like movies and all. You have to show them a picture just by explaining something. So the better your vocabulary is, the best you do. Like, if either I can say that, oh, I was it is, after that, like, let me give you an example. After talking to my principal, I was so angry. I was going like this. I was walking back to my class like this. Or you can say, the speak to the principal was so bad, I was so angry, I was kicking sand and coming back. So that you have a better clear picture to it. So the vocabulary is very important. So I try to improve my vocabulary as much as possible.
So cool. So cool. Um, but this also tells me of a certain homelessness. This lack of the absence of a root, this uprootedness. And I of course, I mean, in my case, I have huge privileges, having grown up in Bangalore, and was born here and all that. But this who am I, where am I from kind of
Yeah.
thing is I suppose something that we connect over. And
Yeah.
so tell me, why I mean, for the benefit of people who don't know the history of the Namashudra people, you should have been in Bengal. What were you doing in Bastar?
So Namashudra people were it's Namashudras, they are Chandals. I don't know why people started calling Nomushudra. I asked my Thakur, my grandma, why we are called Nomushudra and we are not called Chandals anymore. She said that because it's derogatory. Because Chandal doesn't sound good. I'm like, then who decided it? Do you think Nomushudra sounds good? All these people who look down as Chandal would all of a sudden hear the word Nomushudra. Oh my God, this is an elegant word.
Let's allow Manjeet inside the house.
Yeah.
Let's allow him inside the temple also. Now he's Namashudra. We'll get him married to one of us also. He's Namashudra. He's no longer Chandal.
Yes, so I think so. That is what Nomushudras are, for the Dalits from Bangladesh. And lot of the after the separation of East Pakistan, and when East Pakistan become Bangladesh, before that also a lot of Namoshudrus are coming to India because of the riots. Nuakhali riots had happened. All these big riots were happened. People were getting killed, and nobody. That's so crazy. Nobody talks about the Nuakhali riots, which is very similar massacre as Jallianwala Bagh, which is like, I'll give you the context. It's like the riots were happening. Dalits were getting Dalits mostly, because let's be very honest, people who have money who had fled already, right, and they were getting massacred, and the Pakistani cops came and they were like, hey, come here, we'll give you shelter. And the shelter had only one exit. And so somewhere like 1,000 of people were inside that shelter, and they started butchering one by one, and they butchered everybody, right? So those kind of things were happening.
Marriage Jappi also happens. Have you heard of it?
Marichipi came very late.
Very late, yeah.
It was because of the so-called communist people who were supposed to help Dalit. Oh my God, this is so interesting.
Tell. They don't know about Marriage Jappi. I'm
Okay,
pretty
so-
sure most people don't know what Marriage Jappi is.
So when the Dalit people came to India first, they were putting in a camp. Like there were so many waves of Dalit people came, because all the upper caste people who came to India, they got land in Kolkata and CR Park, Delhi and all very easily. But when it come to accommodating Dalit people, they were like, where will you give? India doesn't have that much space, whatever. They were in camp for 7 years, 7 to 8 years, and they started allocating them land. You know that people live in North Karnataka, then Andaman, and Jharkhand, Odisha, Bastar, Chhattisgarh, Nainital. But nobody, they would have easily lived in Bengal, but they couldn't do it because they started killing them, saying that we don't need more Dalit from Bangladesh. So they started relocating them. They are not even allowed to be with people who speaks the same language, right?
Here they
So-
are thinking that, oh, they're escaping from the persecution of the Muslims. We are going to Hindu land. My Hindu brothers will accept me and make me part of a Bhadralok society.
Oh yeah, then they started killing them. And then when this thing happened, when especially the Bastar was the place where people didn't want to go there. Because even in the Hindu textbook Ramayana, it is written that you can't, like, it's an unlivable place. That's why it is called Dandakaran.
Dandakaran, yeah.
Dandakaran is the place where Ram supposedly had gone for Banabas, and it was specifically because nobody can live there. It's unlivable. The weather condition is extreme. It is extremely jungle, wildlife. People die of heat also. People die of winter also. And so they have to go and make a life there. So they didn't want to, right? So after, but the communist government had given the word that when we come to power, we'll give you land back in our bongo, in your sonar Bangla. So the moment they got elected, these people heard that, okay, they are in power. So they went back to Bengal and they're like, where are you guys coming from? Why are you guys here? Get the fuck out of here, right? So they found an island, Mirjip Island, between Bangladesh and India, which they didn't have drinking water. Still, they were happy. They were made of all kind of thing. And then these people sent people to ask them to go away from them. They did not go, and illegally, it's not even paper. They send people to kill them and massacre so many people. I read it on our Blood Island, Marijip Island. I forgot the author's name. Also in the book called Integrating My Chandal Life, where they killed so many people. That's how the tiger of Sundarban got used to eating human flesh, is because there were so many dead bodies that they ate there.
They were eating Dalits basically.
Yes, and now
So
they
those Dalits that were not eaten by the Bhadralok of Bengal were eaten by the tigers of Sundarban.
Tigers. Yeah, I think yes, they're used to it now. So that's how.
Better way of putting it, those the Dalits whose blood was not sucked by the
Yeah.
by the Bhadralok Jomidars.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Bengal and Kerala is very similar in this kind of thing. It's very scary. Like when you have something like can you believe it? A place where they convinced people that it's a matriarchal society and caste is not there. Like then there is no debate only. If you convince other people, then why are you talking about it? There is no caste. It's a matriarchal society. The women, they should not complain about them. Like when you go, you see, you realize how patriarchal society this is. Like how can India be matriarchal society? That's a oxymoron, right? Like sexism is not a word in India because that's a muscle memory and it's a culture. It's like it's a part of your culture. Your culture is lesser. I don't celebrate most of the culture. It's like so many flaws are there. It's a human being. When you see that, like most of the things you do, when you say that this is patriarchy, but isn't that thing what is part of the culture itself, right? So I can't tell you. It's just very bothering things. But yeah, who am I to talk about this?
The prodigal son.
Yeah.
You're the prodigal son. You're the one who was given a mouth after years
A
of
mic.
mouthlessness. we suddenly have one person who's all mouth and nothing else.
Mike, yes, but like the Nomashudras are mostly there's a lot of things were happening. Like I am from a community called Mathua. Like
I want, yeah. So when you, okay, again, this is something that most people not know about.
Mhm.
We are close to, I don't know how many million Mathuas are there.
Yeah.
And the only time you'll hear the name Mathua cropping up is when these professional journalists do professional election analysis. Okay. 8% of Mathua vote in this particular constituency. So the Mamata has this thing, but BJP is making inroads in the Mathua. But then in the whole thing, nobody has bothered to mention Mathua chidiya ka naam hai. Is it a bird? Is it a plane?
Yeah, no.
What is Mathua?
No,
Who are Mathua?
I can't believe when I googled Mathua,
Yeah.
there are barely any national news on it.
Yeah.
And like it's just couple
I
of Bengali
don't want to
news.
name this person. She was an MP
Uh-huh.
from Bengal. Okay. Just sidestep that whole Mathua question. I was like, so what is happening with Mathua in Bengal now? Moving on.
Okay,
They don't know.
does her name also rhyme with Mathua?
Does it? I don't know.
Okay. No, Mathua is. How do I tell you?
And okay, but before you tell, let me give you some context. If you're trying to understand what happened in Bengal, I think is very, very important in order to understand anti-caste in India, because some of the earliest anti-caste movements in South Asia broke out in Bengal, and the first
in the entire world,
the first rebellion against the caste system. And the Motua faith, so obviously, I mean, both of us, we spend so much time talking about the problem, and at the end of a session where we have talked about problems, if you were in a live seminar, I don't know if you've had this experience, somebody will definitely get up and ask, so what is the solution? तो ये सब है, casteism है, patriarchy है, every time. So what is the solution? Baba Saheb Ambedkar had a solution which I think appeals to a very wide section of people. He came up with a talisman, as formula, which is educate, organize, agitate. Now the Motua thing, you will be surprised, predates Ambedkar. And despite that, I think, is the basic framework is educate, agitate, organize only.
Yes.
So with that introduction, sorry, Manjeet, if I have summarized anything that you wanted to talk about, but tell me about Motua. You spoke about cultures and how you find it difficult to associate with oppressive cultures.
Yeah.
But what is Motua? Why is it liberating?
Motua is not a really. So they saw it as a religion. It was it was a religion made to oppose religions. Right? So the Mathua religion was founded by Harichan Thakur, the founding father, and it is based up two movement. One is Bhakti movement. Second is Shiksha movement. Bhakti movement was led by Harichan Thakur. Shiksha movement was led by Guru Chand Thakur. The Bhakti movement was like, okay, we are not allowed in temple. They used to throw the prasad, all these things. So it was very humiliating. If you know the kind of history you have in this country.
We're very good slip catchers, actually. We're very good catching.
So that's the time where Harijan Thakur came up with these things. That like we don't want to go to temple anymore. What we do is we make our own temple in our house, and doesn't matter which god you want to worship, be it Hindu god, be it Christian god or Buddha, doesn't matter. You just bhakti is needed in your life. I don't know what they needed, because they didn't have therapy, so they needed some kind of religion, but they needed it. So he recognized it that bhakti is needed. So rather make a temple in your own house. And then his wife, she went around places and taught the women how to do puja. So that was the bhakti movement. Then came the Shiksha movement by Guru Chand Thakur, who were not allowed in school, because of course he's also from Chandal community. So he went to madrasa. And so he went to madrasa and learned Arabic and all these things. And his dad also used to teach him about the wisdom, that he was very much of a philosopher and wisdom, very wise person. So that's how he got to all his education and all. So his idea was this Shiksha movement. The only way we can defeat what we are is by getting educated. So what he did is he ended up building so many schools, more than 1,000 school at that time for Dalit people. And you were not allowed to make the school for Dalit people. So what he did is it's very interesting. He started approaching as like he wanted to village to village, ask to let him teach the kids of Chandals. And they're like, what are you talking about? Why? I'm like, we really respect your dad and all, but you can't say anything, okay? Like, what do you mean by teaching kids and all belong to Chandal? So somehow he convinced couple of people and didn't have place. So we're like, okay, from morning 10 to 4 p.m. and all, your cows go for whatever thing, right, to feed grass, and also the cattle is free, let me do. So that's how the first school was had happened by Guruchan Thakur in a cattle. And right now that place is called Odakandi. The school is still there.
It's a shed, it's a cattle.
No, right now it became a proper big school. And
but
all.
it started as a shed, a cow shed.
Yes. And later how he did it is, when even Gandhi wanted him to join the movement of freedom fighter, he just said like, he promised me that if we get freedom, we will be free also. Like, we'll get all the rights. Like, it will be a freedom for you guys. So it won't be a freedom for my guys. Let me, I'm working for my freedom. So let me, I don't need to free from the Britishers. Probably they are not the like oppressor I am scared of. So he also worked for the freedom, also for our freedom, right? So I don't know what. So he never joined the movement, even after the whatever India was independent. He did not.
It's difficult to say that, no? Independent.
Yeah.
Are we really independent?
Anyway, so he didn't come here, but yeah. So he while doing that, Christian missionary found out that a lot of Dalits were getting oppressed. So that was a good opportunity for them to convert people. So a lot of places they were doing it, and they did successfully also. So they had come there to Bengal. They know that Bengal had one of the biggest Dalit population in entire India.
South Asia.
Yeah, in South Asia.
Yeah.
And Guruchan Thakur was leading them. So he told that, okay, if you ask them to convert, everybody will convert. So he just had to convince them. And so he said, I will make sure everybody converts, but you have to promise me one thing. And he said, what? It's like, you make schools for me with Dalit kids. And he ended up making so many, with the help of missionary help, ended up making so many school for Dalit kids. By the time that the guy who was there for missionary ended up being one of his chela.
Oh.
Yeah, he ended up serving for Matua community. He became Matua.
Wow.
So another thing about Matua is you don't really have to be Dalit to become Matua.
Yeah, and I've discovered that a lot of politicians, because now the Matua vote is very important.
Yeah.
I mean, when I talk about it in detail, I will talk about it. But the fall of the left in Bengal and the rise of the TMC had a lot to do with how Mamata finally managed to get the Matua vote. Because the Matua community as such, I suppose because of the directions from Harichand and Guruchan Thakur, stayed away from politics.
Yeah.
And you could individually join some party and all that, but as a Matua, you could not. And then Mamata Banerjee does this whole thing of, she goes to, the mother, no? Where is that? This
Shanti Mata.
Shanti Mata, the older, this elder lady.
The Guruchan Thakur's mom and Harichand's wife.
Who's still around. Right?
Sorry?
Okay, never mind. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll just try to cut this a little bit. But anyway, my point is that, there are lots of politicians who are trying to become Matua now,
Yeah.
in order to get that vote. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. No, the thing is, what happened with Matua and all is like, so I'll tell you this thing. So Matua, when they came and all, this become a very big thing, right? So the first person who fought against in the court, saying for the Dalit people should also get the right to work, was the student of Guru Chand Thakur, where the first person who was the student, he became lawyer and he went to the court, and the first thing was like, okay, Chandal is a profession of killing people, like the Fasi thingy, and also who deals with thing and all.
Yeah.
All doesn't do it. That's how you approach it. So that we can get different kind of jobs or all these things. So those are the things, and it is more of a lifestyle other than religion. Later it became religion, which I'm not a fan of it now, but it is a lifestyle because our founding father never called it a religion. Because it is like how you, as a Dalit person, how you empower yourself. It has a formula. It has a 10 formula that you have to follow, and the first formula is like first thing that you have to follow. If you don't follow those things, you can't call yourself Matua. That's it. There is no ritual or like tilak and all, or like holy water, nothing. It's just like if you follow these 10 rules, if you also start following it for today, you can call yourself Matua. The first thing is like beg, but make sure your kids are educated. So you see, the first thing itself so hit hard is like, this is like, and second is I don't believe and I can't do anything related to Veda.
That sounds like the 22 vows that Ambedkar was.
Yes. But like Ambedkar was like very religious things. Here is like how it's like a formula. I think that one of the reason I'm here is because like I recently met one of the a person who does research about Matua a lot. My dad's also is a very big Matua, and we met and he started crying. He's like, you are like Guru Chand Thakur's and Ambedkar's wildest dream.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I? They had a. I don't think myself as a good looking dream, to be honest. But Ambedkar, Baba Sahib's that 22 vows was very specific to religious. This is like very specific to what we should do to get out of this, whatever this shithole that these people has pushed us to.
Yeah.
So that is it. Like that.
I want to go back to that shithole and pull up some more shit and show it to the world, because the thing is, you and I might be in that sense in this, what do you call, national media, whatever, this entire space that we occupy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think we are among the only two people who have a sense of that side of Bengal's history, are interested in Matua, understand where that is coming from and all of that. And these are stories. So there are lots of partition narratives, right?
Yeah.
This Bhadralok narratives, amader okhane jomi chilo, amra jomidar chilam, which basically means that we were zamindars. Every Bengali Bhadralok was a zamindar, who's come from that side was a zamindar. There. What about us? There's no history about us.
The moment you talk about, like when I went to Kolkata also, and whenever I meet, I talk about me being from Bangladesh, a lot of upper caste people also come like, oh, my family were also from Bangladesh. I'm like, don't try to relate on this. Like, like you will be very ashamed if you relate to me on this, because you really don't want to be the upper caste Bengali from Bangladesh, because the moment you know what the upper caste Bengalis from Bangladesh has done, you really would hide the fact that your ancestor is from there. You should. This is not something you want to relate to me. Don't do that.
Have done, I would say, even continue to do. What I've gathered from whatever little bit research I've done on Bangladesh is that yes, there is this communal divide, persecution of the religious minority and all of that. But even there, okay, the people who get persecuted the most are actually the Dalits.
Yeah, the 3 million people who who died in the 3 million people who died in the coming to that partition or like the migration from Bangladesh. How many of them were upper caste?
Yeah.
And it's not
no,
like
even today, like এখন যেটা হচ্ছে, this thing of all this persecution that's happening in Bengal, I mean in Bangladesh, so, allegedly.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's not even from like when you see them, you know which caste they belong to, and like it is from some Mirpur, some Faridpur, Matibanga and all, and those are the places where Dalit people live still now.
And and so that's the thing. So we were talking about BBM. So from Bangladesh they're coming to Bangalore. they've already landed up, some of them, of course, in Bastar.
Yeah.
We know exactly where in Bangalore. Some Mahadevpura, behind the apartments, that whole this thing, you'll have one set
Yeah.
of tents,
Yeah,
blue
yeah.
tents, where, you go and you ask, "Ki kotha theke?" Oi, they're from there. Hindu or
They say
Muslim.
Manipur.
They do. Firstly, they'll say, Kolkata.
Kolkata.
Kolkata. I'm like, Kolkata? Okay, you don't sound like Kolkata because, of course, there are Bengalis and then there are many, many Bengalis.
Yeah.
Okay, different types of Bangla. So we are completely out of time.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another recording that's supposed to happen.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
and
Okay.
the other team is screaming. This is again another marker of how little resources we have to put together for something as important as this. This is a conversation that needs to continue, Manjeet. And I think if it's possible, I mean, every now and then we're trying to find ways to do stories, find places from where we can tell stories. Who knows? You and I, we could probably go across to Bangladesh after
Yes, please.
all of this settles and bring back a story perhaps for TNN and NL. But for now, we'll have to leave it here. We've got a good chunk of material, a great slice of your life. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, I'm really excited. I'll tell the viewers that my special is coming out. It's called Let's Talk About It. Because let's do it. I guess it's century. So let's talk about it. Is my name of my special, which is coming out on February 14. And yeah, and about the Mathua, I'm writing a book. So hopefully you will read and you will get to know, because there is no book about Mathua. Don't write it now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manjeet. I'll see you in the next episode.
Yes.